Hey everyone, Scott here with another Hockey Treasures, where we look at the stories behind the artifacts. This time, we're looking at Willie O'Reilly. This guy is a true icon of hockey history. He's known for being the first black player to crack the NHL, and he did so when he stepped out on the ice for the first time in the Montreal Forum on January 18th, 1958. It was a decade after Jackie Robinson had cracked the color barrier in baseball. And it is for this reason that O'Reilly is an inspiration to generations and an inducted member in the Hockey Hall of Fame. What's even more impressive is that this guy did it while being blind in one eye. O'Reilly had a successful minor pro career. However, he only managed to crack the NHL on 2 occasions because of the color of his skin. The first being in 1958, where he played only 2 games, and the second being over a year later for the 1960-61 season, his only full season in the NHL. And what we got here is a stick from that season. Let's check it out. So, this is a true treasure, a true piece of hockey history. It pays homage to Willie for being the first black player to crack the NHL. It also pays homage to those who came before and after him, those who had to face obstacles to cracking the color barrier in the game of hockey. For racist reasons, players like Herb Carnegie were never given a chance to play at the top of the NHL. And then it took years after O'Reilly for the next black player to crack the NHL when Mike Marson did so in 1974. These are people we cannot forget. They're people that push through the slurs, the taunts, the attacks that they faced to get to the top. So again, what we've got here is Willie O'Reilly's stick from his only full season in the NHL. You're going to find this artifact in the Changing Face of Hockey exhibition at the Hockey Hall of Fame. Thanks, everybody. Hey, everyone. Scott here with another Hockey Treasures. With the World Juniors around the corner, we're going to look back at one of the most iconic U20 tournaments ever. And what we're looking at here is this jersey worn by PK Subban during the gold medal game. Let's check it out. So for anyone who remembers watching this tournament, it was an extremely fun and nail-biting tournament at time for Team Canada fans. Now it has to be said, the pressure on these young guys going into this tournament was immeasurable. First off, Canada had won the 4 previous gold medals, and they were eyeing their 5th consecutive title. Secondly, the tournament was taking place on home ice in the nation's capital, Ottawa. Now PK was outstanding in this tournament. He scored 3 goals, had 6 assists in only 6 games, and he would finish the tournament as the top scorer for defensemen. After winning the first 4 games, Canada would advance to the semifinal against Russia. And as the seconds ticked down, with Russia in the lead 5-4 in the final minute, Subban was on the ice for Canada and was there to celebrate with Jordan Eberle when he tied the game up for Canada with only 5.4 seconds remaining on the clock. Canada managed to keep their drive for 5 alive and won in the shootout. And it was while wearing this jersey here that PK scored the first goal of the final as Canada went on to beat Sweden 5-1 for the gold medal. Subban finished the tournament as leader in plus-minus at +12, and not surprisingly, was named to the tournament all-star team. Subban was an absolute force in this tournament, and as we all know, he would go on to be an all-star NHLer. So again, what we have here is PK Subban's jersey from the 2009 U20 gold medal game. You're going to find this artifact in the Changing Face of Hockey exhibit at the Hockey Hall of Fame. Thanks, everybody. Hey, everyone. Scott here with other Hockey Treasures, where we look at the stories behind the artifacts. With the Hockey Hall of Fame Class of 2020 recently honored in the Hall, we thought it would be fitting over the next coming months to explore our treasures that we have for the recent inductees, and we're going to start with Jerome Mcginla. As a member of the prestigious 600 Goal Club, Mcginla will always be remembered as one of the NHL's all-time prolific goal scorers. And what we got here are the gloves that he was wearing when he recorded his 600th NHL career goal. Let's check them out. Now that we got these out of the showcase, we can take a closer look at them. On January 4th, 2016, while playing with the Colorado Avalanche, Jerome Mcginla used these very gloves to score his 600th NHL career goal. But as the old cliche goes, they don't ask how, they ask how many, and that certainly does apply to Jerome's 600th goal. It's not one of his more memorable goals, it's not a great wrist shot or a slap shot. The goal actually happens on a cross-ice pass on a power play. It ends up deflecting off the skates of the LA Kings defender, and the puck ends up in the net. That's the 600th goal. Another funny part about the story, though, is in the game before that, they were playing against Mcginla's old team, the Calgary Flames, a team where he scores over 500 NHL career goals with. His teammates were feeding him the puck all night, They really wanted him to hit that 600 goal mark against his old team, but it wasn't meant to be. He goes on to score 625 NHL career goals and is tied 16th all-time for NHL goals scored. Again, what we got here are Jerome Mcginla's 600th Gold Gloves. You're going to find these in the Changing Face of Hockey exhibition at the Hockey Hall of Fame. Thanks, everybody. Hey everyone, Scott here with another Hockey Treasures, where we look at the stories behind the artifacts. This time we're looking at Angela James. She's a Hockey Hall of Fame inducted member. She's known as the Wayne Gretzky of women's hockey when she played, but most importantly, she's one of the leading pioneers in women's hockey. She started to play at a time where girls didn't play much, so she had to grow up playing with boys, but she would eventually go on to lead Team Canada to its first ever gold medal at the first ever Women's World Championship, and she did so wearing this jersey right here. James scores 11 times to lead the tournament in goals scored, which gets her the first ever Best Forward award. Now, one of the obvious things we can't overlook here is the pink. I know we're all used to Canada wearing its true colors, the red and white, them going for gold wearing those colors and often bringing home gold, but this time it was pink and white. The question is, why is it pink? Well, it actually was a PR stunt attempting to draw attention to the new tournament. It's well known the women were not happy about this. They obviously wanted to wear the true Canada colors of red and white, but it was pink and white in the end. Most importantly, though, is they got the job done and brought home gold. So again, what we've got here is Angela James' gold medal jersey from the first ever Women's World Championship. You're going to find this jersey in the Women's World Championship exhibit at the Hockey Hall of Fame. Thanks, everybody. Hey, everyone. Scott here with another Hockey Treasures, where we look at the stories behind the artifacts. This time, we're looking at a more recent edition of the Hall of Fame's treasure trove, and it's this stick right here used while setting an NHL record during the 2020 Stanley Cup playoffs. Let's check it out. There are so many great stories for the history book from the 2020 Stanley Cup playoffs, from the pandemic that forced the team into two bubbles, to hockey being played in August, and games being played all day long. Now this stick right here was used by Columbus Blue Jackets defenseman Seth Jones when he set the NHL all-time record for most minutes on ice in a single game at 65 minutes and 6 seconds. He did that during the fourth longest game in NHL history, which lasted 150 minutes and 27 seconds. It's crazy to think that's nearly an 8-period long hockey game. Now Jones was an absolute monster in this game. He was logging minute after minute, playing against the eventual Stanley Cup champion Tampa Bay Lightning's best players, and they got a few. Now, it was Tampa's Braden Point who scored the eventual game winner, and it obviously goes without saying that it was a heartbreaking loss for Jones and his teammates. But when people will look back at this game, Jones will always remember it as a force. It's just another one of those great stories that comes out of the epic 2020 Stanley Cup playoffs. Again, what we've got here is Seth Jones' stick used while setting the NHL record for most time played in a single game. You're going to find this stick in the NHL Today exhibition at the Hockey Hall of Fame. Thanks, everybody. Hey everyone, Scott here with another Hockey Treasures. This time we're looking at Herb Carnegie, the player that many, including Willie O'Reilly, think should have been the first black player to play in the NHL. And what we got here is his 1948 MVP award that he won while playing semi-pro hockey. Let's check it out. So first off, as you can see here, this is a tea kettle. While this may seem unique to us, it was not uncommon to be given a piece of houseware after winning a championship or an award when Carnegie played in the 40s and 50s. What's also unique about this is while this is an MVP award and something to be celebrated, it also helps us tell the story of injustice. Now, while Willie O'Reilly is the first black player to play in the NHL, Carnegie, who began his career 10 years before O'Reilly, is considered one of the first black star hockey players, and it's high time his story becomes mainstream. He excelled in his junior career with the Toronto Young Rangers. But it was in 1938 that racist views prevented Carnegie from playing for Conn Smythe's Toronto Maple Leafs. Stories vary as to what the Leafs owner actually said specifically about Carnegie, but the alleged stories all come back to the young prospect Carnegie would be signed by Smythe if he could be turned white. While the glaring racism that Carnegie faced while playing junior hockey and throughout his semi-pro career cannot be understated, the man they nicknamed Swivel-Hips should also be remembered for his offensive talent and playmaking skills, a true magician with the puck. It was while playing in the Quebec Provincial Hockey League for the Sherbrooke Hockey Club in 1947-48 that Carnegie won this here MVP award. This after scoring 48 goals and 127 points in only 56 games. This was Carnegie's second of 3 MVP awards, with his third coming the following season in the Quebec Senior Hockey League. And while playing in that league with the Quebec Aces, Carnegie played and mentored one of the game's greatest all-time players, John Beliveau. And it was Beliveau who wrote the foreword for Carnegie's autobiography, where he stated that he believed that Carnegie was excluded from the NHL because of his skin color, and goes on to ask how NHL scouts could overlook not one, but 3 MVP awards to a player in a top senior league. Following Carnegie's 1948 MVP season, he was offered a contract by the New York Rangers, but it was with their lowest-ranked farm team. He declined because the pay did not cover his family's expenses and did not ensure him a spot to crack the NHL lineup. Well, going forward, Herb Carnegie will always be remembered as a barrier breaker in the game of hockey. But we also can't forget that it was racist views that limited how far he could rise. So again, what we have here is Herb Carnegie's 1948 MVP award. You're going to find this artifact in the Changing Face of Hockey exhibit at the Hockey Hall of Fame. Thanks, everybody.